The Amazon Basics gaming headset has actually been on the market since August of 2018, meaning I'm a bit late to the party on reviewing them. However, regardless, they typically come in at anywhere between $14 and $30 depending on the color and the time that you are looking at the listing. And for that, they advertise a 4-pole 3.5mm design to drive the headphones themselves as well as an attached gooseneck microphone. But just how good or how bad is it? Beginning with the physical design and materials, the headset features an all-around gamer aesthetic made entirely out of plastic that, depending on the color selected at checkout, will either be entirely black or black with accents of blue or green. They don't look very good, but thankfully I'm not buying $20 headphones for their aesthetic appeal. As far as how this design holds up when they come to fit and comfort, as a whole they're quite stiff, and I would be nervous about them potentially being crushed in a bag instead of just squishing. However, no part of the headphones ever dug into my head, despite the lack of much padding on the top. With that being said, even after breaking them in, the clamp force on my head became uncomfortable within about 30 minutes, and I wanted to take them off after 90. With repeated use, I managed to get somewhat used to them and game for about 2 hours before needing to take them off, which still isn't great, especially for longer periods of play. Adjustment-wise, there are 5 steps to the size adjustment, which is fine, and there's also some movement in the angle that the individual ear cups lay on your head, with the ear pads also swiveling, although I'm sure this last one is an unintended feature. I thought it was worth mentioning. The microphone attached to the left headphone is at the end of a slightly short but surprisingly decent gooseneck that has about 150 degrees of movement from its lowest point to its highest point, as well as comes with a small windscreen that promptly fell off and that I lost within a week of getting them. The cable is made from an awful soft touch rubber that ends up getting caught in absolutely everything, with an inline control box that has a hardware volume dial and a mute toggle for the microphone, with a 4-pole 3.5mm jack at the end that will work great with phones that... Never mind, phones don't have... So, it will work great with laptops that accept 4-pole jacks, but for everyone else you'll probably need an adapter or a splitter, which is somewhat unfortunate. But all the things I've discussed so far are pretty pointless if the headphones and microphone themselves sound awful. And, well, to start with the headphones, they kind of just sound bad in every way. The treble is nearly non-existent to my ears, and the mids end up being really muddy, with the bass being probably the only thing that comes through in any form that an artist or audio engineer intended, but that also ends up overpowering the rest of the mix. The imaging when listening to music somehow is mildly okay. However, when playing a game, there's a lot to be desired, and I never quite felt confident that I knew where exactly the sound was coming from. As a whole, these headphones just sound really muffled, and frankly like I'm listening through something, which is really not what you want. With that being said, with some manual EQing in Windows to correct the heavy-handed bass and the lack of treble, as well as with some songs that have impeccable mixing, these headphones can create some okay audio experiences. As far as the microphone, it's pretty much the exact opposite as the headphones themselves, and I would say sounds pretty damn good for the price. It's more than enough for use in in-game voice chat as well as audio and video calls, and will certainly sound way better than most computers' built-in mics. And I could even see you using this for amateur game recordings and maybe light audio recording applications where audio quality isn't top priority, but also isn't negligible. So, in conclusion, would I recommend the Amazon Basics gaming headset? I've seen this headset go as cheap as $13 for some of the color options, and at that price point, if you simply don't have any more to spend and want over-ear headphones, then I suppose this is a decent option. However, the headset usually retails at somewhere between $25 and $30, and at that price, I just can't see the value, especially when for the same price, you can get a pair of Koss KPH-30Is, which can compete with my studio headphones in terms of sound quality. And for $5 to $10 less, a pair of Panasonic Ergofits also do a good job, sound way better, and even have a better microphone. Long story short, I simply cannot suggest anyone buy these as they are likely to just be a painful disappointment. Better luck next time, Amazon. Now, I never have stuff at the end of my videos. I don't even have a consistent outro, but I'd like to make an exception and mention that I've created a Patreon page to allow for more frequent and consistent uploads by making the channel, hopefully, financially self-sustaining. On my Patreon, all patrons get early access to new videos 2 to 3 days before they come out on YouTube, as well as get exclusive behind-the-scenes content. At $3, you can get your name in the description, as well as access on voting on which videos I should make next, and at $8, your name appears on screen near the end of each video. If any of this interests you, I would highly appreciate if you took a look at my page and considered supporting the channel. But otherwise, I'll talk to you all again soon.